So we're here, Bryce Gordon. Got a new episode for you guys. How you doing today?
I'm good. Good to be here with my brother-in-law.
Yeah, my brother-in-law. A lot of you, I don't know if anybody knows that, but I've known you since you were tiny.
Yeah, probably since trying to think about the year difference because you started dating my sister in sophomore year, junior,
End of junior year.
end of junior year. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I was still in junior high. So I was probably about 12, 13.
yeah. So 12, 13, had like a bald haircut.
The shaved head.
Yeah, the shaved head.
You guys should have seen me about an hour ago. I had long hair down to my neck. So
Yeah.
I just got a haircut.
Got
But
a fresh cut. Where do you get it cut at?
just at Black Cat down the road. Got a good barber. I've gone to years down there. So no longer the bald kid since
yeah.
I was little, but
So how you been?
good. I mean, I'm just back. This is kind of my last day back in Tooele. Then I'm going to be going back to college. So
Where are you going to school at?
I'm up at Weber State in my third year. So studying exercise science. Looking to do PT, kind of go down there, hopefully make it all the way. I don't like to think about how many years I got left, but
So what's like, so for a lot of people out there, I like to like drill on like exercise, stuff like that. And I think it's a good thing as like dads or like now you're an uncle. I know it doesn't really affect you, but maybe it will in the future, having a good base of like exercise and stuff. But like, what's the main goal in that career field?
I mean, the main goal is I want to do physical therapy school, but then it's also just like improving your lifestyle, living a healthy life, I think
Okay.
is so important for everybody, physically and mentally, just being there. Especially something I've noticed with school is if your diet is on point, you're drinking enough water, you're exercising regularly, you're going to do better in school too. It kind of goes hand in hand, that physical and mental health that is with exercise. So especially as a dad, sometimes it can be hard. I mean, when he's waking up in the middle of the night, getting the 8 hours of sleep that you need, but it's also important so you can do what you need to do as a dad.
Yeah, I think that's the tough part because like the first 2 months they say like parents lose like 2 months worth of sleep, or I don't know if it's 2 months, but they lose a lot of sleep. I could definitely attest to that because like they have to wake up. Something I didn't know. They have to wake up every 2 hours and eat for like the first month and a half, and that's pretty rough, especially if you're like kind of involved and helping and not making your wife do it all, like burping them and kind of, it's tough.
You're the designated burper.
Yeah,
I've noticed.
Designated burper and like, I don't know. It's fun, but you lose a lot of sleep, so it's kind of hard to fit it in. How important is sleep?
I think sleep is like one of the most underrated aspects of it. Is you need to be getting that good sleep or you're not going to recover. And if you're not recovering, it's not going to do too much good for you. So I think it's something that a lot of people don't think about is getting your sleep on point. And then of course, I mean, as a new dad, there's exceptions and there's priorities in your life. Like you're not going to say, no, I can't burp. I got to get my 8 hours.
Gotta get my 8 hours of beauty sleep in.
Exactly. And then me as a college student, it's like, I need to study for this test, or I need to do this and that. So it's like, ideally you want to get all that sleep, but sometimes there's other priorities that come up in life and shit happens.
Oh yeah, shit happens for sure. Like, I don't know, but maybe a party comes up, you kind of compromise sleep, drink a little bit. How bad's alcohol?
Oh, I would say alcohol it's pretty bad, but I also kind of preach a balance, I would say. So, I mean, if you want to go out one night, I would say go out. But coming from a college student's perspective, maybe every once in a while it's good, but you don't want to fall into that college loop where you're like, okay, we go out Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Oh, and then we have some drinks Monday and Tuesday.
Throughout the week.
Yeah, you don't want to fall into that habit, but I also think it's important to maintain balance in your life.
Yeah.
So, like, if you want to go out and have a few drinks, I think that's perfectly fine.
Oh yeah.
But I've also noticed, like, if I'm drinking on a Friday, then my Saturday session will definitely be affected. It depends to the level. So I would say for me, I don't drink very often, but when I do, I try to do Saturdays after my session.
Okay.
So that way I can kind of have Sunday to recover. It's a Sunday. You're not doing too much.
It's a recovery day for sure.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people out there don't know, what else do you do? Like, I know you're a weightlifter.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to kind of explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so a hobby I've picked up is powerlifting. It's kind of one of those niche sports, I would say. I think it is growing, but it's for sure a niche sport. So, I mean, just a little background for people who don't know what it is. All it is it's a test of your max bench, squat, and deadlift. So you get 3 attempts at each in a competition, and you're just trying to get the most weight possible. So I've been doing that about a year and a half. I've loved it. It's kind of gave me, I guess you could say, a purpose in the gym, because sometimes you can fall into that monotony of not knowing why you're at the gym or like
for sure.
something to do. So it gave me a purpose. And I know you've gone through that a little bit, like finding a purpose exercise wise, because I'm not sure if you've talked about this on the podcast, but when you train for the Spartan race, that's something
gives you something to do, you know?
Yeah.
Like kind of train for and kind of look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of pushes you in the gym a little bit. And like when I went to Dixie, I stopped working out like almost in total. And like you go through different phases and go through a weight loss phase or like a bulk phase or something like that. But he's won 2 weightlifting competitions now. So
yep, I've competed in 2 USAPL meets for my weight and age. I've taken first in both of them, so kind of I've enjoyed it. Looking forward to kind of where I'm going to continue to go from there. Probably going to look for another competition, maybe the upcoming summer, spring. We'll kind of see where that heads.
Do they have any big like competitions, like a nationals or something?
Mm-hmm. So they have just local meets. All I've done is local meets, and so they take your total of the squat, bench, and deadlift, and it's called a qualifying total. Yeah, you have to compete in a national competition.
Okay.
So once you get that qualifying total, you can compete at those national competitions, and then they kind of have a big, I guess, championship, you could say. So
do you have one of those in your future? Kind of training towards?
I mean, ideally, yeah, trying to get that qualifying total. When I looked, I think I'm about 80 pounds, 100 pounds away from it.
You're so close. What is a qualifying total? What's the...
I'm trying to think. I don't know exactly off the top of my head, but I believe it's around 1,500 to 1,600 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
So between all of them, have to get around there. At this previous meet, I totaled, I think, 1,430, around there.
Fuck.
I may be a little off on some of those numbers, but it was close there.
I'm just trying to get in the 1,000-pound club. That's crazy. Like we went to the gym earlier. Me and my cousin were there. I saw him and he's like, I just saw your fucking brother-in-law fucking deadlift, or what were you squatting?
Today I had a single at 505.
God, yeah, he's like, yeah, he just deadlifted or squatted 500 pounds. I was like, yeah, I can't even touch that, but that's crazy.
Yeah, it's been a progress. It's been a process.
What got you into the gym? Because like when I first started dating your sister, like I try and like get you to work out a little bit, but you weren't too interested at all. Like what kind of pushed you into the gym?
I would say what originally got me going in the gym was football. So that was the biggest motivator. A little 8th grade year, I got into the gym just a little bit, but I would say my freshman year is when I really started hitting the gym hard, and it just kind of went from there. I continued to train throughout high school, specifically for football, just trying to get bigger, faster, stronger, how everybody is. Then after, I would say I didn't really know after football what to kind of do, so I just I did a PPL split, so push-pull legs, just kind of did that for a while, probably about 2 years, and then I discovered powerlifting, and I've kind of just gone from there.
Hell yeah. So with your PPL split, what did you find worked and didn't work? Because like I've tried a PPL split and I didn't really like it. I try and do like they call a bro split, and it's just like like you do one single muscle group a day. So what have you found works the best for your competition?
So the PPL, the biggest issue I found with that, and it sounds kind of funny because I feel like a lot of people might not have this issue, but I was very overtrained. So I was working out 6 days a week, and I was pushing myself pretty hard. So my body wasn't recovering. And if you're not recovering, you're not going to grow as well, I should say. You're going to get some gains, but I guess I could say it's not optimal as you hear sometimes, optimal lifting. So right now I've gone back and forth. I've done a 5-day split and I've done a 4-day split. So nearly 2 days less than I used to, and I've discovered I love a 4-day split. It gives me enough time to recover, and it is a different type of training, powerlifting training. Of course, focus on strength, and the amount the frequency is a lot higher. So in the PPL split, I of course had 2 push days, so those were my 2 chest days, and now I'm benching 4 times a week. Ooh. So there's a different.
Every day you're there.
Every day I'm there. I'm benching. Whether it's 3 days are just a typical bench, and then I have a dumbbell bench one day. Gosh. So it's a lot of chest, but I would say also with those, I'm not pushing the intensity as hard.
Yeah.
So something about hypertrophy training, it's like pushing till failure. Whereas a lot of this powerlifting training, when you're doing the bench press, it's very rare that I'm going to failure. Like today, I had a bench at RPE 6.5. So RPE is just a scale 1 to 10. That doesn't. So if people don't know. So a 10 would be you don't have anything left. You're shaking. And then obviously a 1 would be super easy. And then kind of there's all the in between. So I would say the intensity isn't quite as high. I've noticed powerlifting training, I'm not going to failure, because if you're going to failure too often on some of those compound lifts, you're not going to recover.
Yeah, that's what I do too much. And like my problem is like I train through high school and after high school, kind of like how I would to play football. And I feel like it's more like performance, but now I'm trying to get a little bit of size. What's the difference between like training for size versus like powerlifting?
So training for size or hypertrophy training, so hypertrophy in the muscles is just gaining muscle size. And then powerlifting, you just want to be as strong as possible. So they go hand in hand. I do accessories for hypertrophy.
Okay.
But the biggest difference is I'm training for strength with powerlifting. Then with hypertrophy, you're trying to increase the muscle size. So you're trying to get as much damage, as you could say, to those muscles as possible. So that's where you're going to see people doing forced reps, training till failure, things along those lines. And even though like I do still train to failure with powerlifting on my accessories, tricep push downs, I'll go to failure, things like that, where it's muscle groups that can recover easily. Because I think everybody can attest that if you go really hard on legs, you're not walking the next day. So it's some of those muscle groups that recover really quickly. My triceps, biceps, go to failure on those. Occasionally chest if I'm doing some chest flies, things along those lines. But with the big 3 lifts, I like to call them the bench, squat, and deadlift, I'll rarely, if ever, go to failure.
Okay. That's crazy because I see you deadlifting like 600 pounds and squatting 500 pounds. So I tried to pick up this man's deadlift today and I couldn't even pick it up. So that's crazy. What's it like being a new uncle?
It's awesome. I love it. I can say that I've never really had an interest in kids. I'll be honest, your kid's the first one I ever held. So I would say it's kind of opened my eyes a little bit. Not that I could say I have baby fever, but like it's the first time I've actually wanted to hold a kid. Like, yeah, exactly. We've been to family events, and it's like I'm not really interested in holding all the little kids, but with him, I want to hold him all the time. We see him all the time. It's awesome. I love the little guy.
That's cool.
So I would say it kind of opened my eyes to that, where I'm like, I really love him, you know?
Yeah.
So, but it's been good. How's it been being a new dad?
It's been pretty cool. Like you said, like I never really had an interest in kids until like, I don't know, something switched. But like, I never really held any kids or anything, and now I'm super comfortable. It's kind of, I never thought I'd want to change a diaper. Like I was really weird about like animals like pee and poop, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I can change a diaper. But you kind of get used to it. Like I've talked about in other podcasts, like getting peed on or something, you know, like you kind of get used to it. But I don't know. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome. So like going back to kind of, I guess, the root of this podcast, when my sister was pregnant, like, was there any resources you looked at to kind of get an idea of what might happen in the waiting room, what might happen after? Because I know this podcast is kind of an outlet for others to say like what to expect almost. Was there something like that for you that you used?
So there wasn't actually. I wish there would have been something more like that. I'm sure there is if you really look for it, but I didn't really see anything that like kind of interested me or like is more of like a hangout where you could like kind of get entertainment and knowledge at the same time.
Gotcha.
But like going into the waiting room and like going into the delivery room and everything was kind of all new to me. It was a little wild. Like you kind of can't prepare yourself. Like the doctors always tell you, like, don't pass out, don't pass out. Like when you help deliver the baby, or, you know, like when you see that kind of stuff, and it's kind of hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like you kind of feel like you're going to pass out, but you don't want to be that guy.
As your wife's giving birth, you don't want to just fall over and have to get picked up by the nurses.
And it's okay if you are, but like you got to try not to. But, no, it's pretty cool. And like it's crazy. You notice little differences week to week. Like last week, he wasn't really interested in like playing with stuff or like grabbing stuff, and he just turned 4 months old. And now he's wanting to grab stuff, feel stuff. He could like associate, oh, if I grab this and move it, it makes this noise, or playing with his rattles and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I saw him earlier today, and he was trying to put the cloth in his mouth. My sister said he's been having an obsession with eating things. Yep. So he's kind of to that phase where everything just goes in his mouth.
Yeah.
But that's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And like I hope everybody out there gets a chance to like go through this, like be a dad and everything, but it's the coolest thing in the world.
That's awesome. Kind of trying to learn on the fly a little bit.
A little bit. Like I always do everything on the fly. I never really prepare and want to start to be better to prepare. And like you got to pack like a diaper bag when you go places, and like you kind of learn to prepare to even just go to a grocery store. It's kind of funny. But
is that something that has changed, I guess, a lot in your life? Is before it's like, okay, let's just go grab something to eat. We'll go out to this restaurant or something like that. But is it different now that you have a kid?
Yeah, it's different. Like I think we've only been to like 2 or 3 restaurants now, just because like when you're there, I don't want them to like be crying or kind of like making a scene, I guess, so to speak. So yeah, you kind of got to plan for it, feed them, make sure they're fed while you're out, because a lot of people are comfortable feeding while you're out, but I don't know.
Yeah, I will say it's one of those things just from being around college that I guess has got better is you'll see a lot of mothers' rooms, which I think is a great thing so mothers are comfortable and have a place that they can feed, because it's also necessary, of course.
Yeah, of course. I can't even imagine going to college and being a mother. So to all you out there that do that, kudos.
There's a few mothers in my class, and they're troopers.
No kidding. So what are your new year, new me goals? Do you have any of those? I know when we go to the gym, the new year, new me people are kind of annoying. Just because there's so many of them. And like the thing that annoys me mostly is like they don't keep with it. Like if they went and just kept with it, that'd be great. But like a lot of them don't keep with it, and that's what makes it annoying.
Yeah, it's the hardest part is you got to find consistency, and that once you get into a schedule and find that consistency, it makes it so much easier. Because I think you see the influx of people at the start of the gym because they're so motivated. Yeah, and motivation, it's a great thing, of course. Like being motivated is awesome, but you're not going to always be motivated. Yeah. So once you get into habit and you get into schedule, that's when you can really start to make a change, because the motivation's always not going to be there. Yeah. Like there's some days I'm hyped up. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go squat heavy. And then there's some days it's like, I don't want to move today. I don't want to have to go put 400 or 500 pounds on my back. Like I want to relax here. I want to watch the football game on Saturday, college football. And it's like, but you got to have that discipline and you got to have that motivation too.
And like, I was lifting with one of my buddies that's going to be a dad, and we kind of talked about that, like the whole factor of like getting up and getting out of bed and doing something. Because like when you hear I used to be a super heavy sleeper. I still kind of am, but like when you hear the baby cry, I don't know what it is, but like you get right up. It's cool. But what kind of pre-workout do you use? What kind of like, I don't know, substances do you use for powerlifting?
Supplements wise, I would say it varies. I use pre-workout occasionally. I've tried a lot of different pre-workout. I would say there's like a upward continuum of pre-workout. I think everybody, if you're a big lifter, has started with C4. That's my very first pre-workout. I think as you mature more, not against anybody who uses C4, but you realize there's much better options. Yep. I've used that. Bucked Up, because we are in the state of Utah. That's a prevalent company. So I've used Bucked Up, of course. I love Rise supplements. And I mean, if there's any college students listening, I would say an underrated supplement is just get caffeine pills on Amazon. They are so cheap. You can get 100 pills for like $10. And that way you can kind of control how much caffeine you're taking in. So
that's cool.
Caffeine, pre-workout, creatine, most studied supplement out there. So I recommend everybody taking their creatine. Take my creatine. Multivitamin. Take a multivitamin. And then I've taken ashwagandha before.
Ashwagandha is good. I've been taking that recently.
Yeah, I've noticed helps a little bit with stress. So I'll take that occasionally. I wouldn't say it's a super common supplement for me. It's one of those I probably need to be more consistent at.
Yeah.
But take that. Fish oil. Fish oil is very good. Those omega-3s, omega-6s, those are really good for you. Trying to think if there's any other supplements.
So I have a question for you, since you're going to school for this and everything. What do the effects of nicotine do for like kind of helping? I've heard it's like a high stimulant and it could kind of help focus and like mental cognition as you get older, but
yeah, I'm no scientist, so I'm quoting Andrew Huberman. If some of you have listened to his podcast, I'm no neuroscientist at Stanford, but according to him, that there is positive effects of nicotine. Negative part is how we consume it. So of course, smoking is bad. Dipping's bad. So just the delivery of nicotine. But other than that, I would say that's quite the most I know about nicotine in that way.
I know it's a little controversial, but
yeah.
I've heard those Zen pouches are pretty good for getting nicotine in your body.
I have a friend who says he needs to pop a Zynergy every workout session before the session is Zynergy. So
Zynerchino. But what are the effects of like coffee on your body? Because as a dad, I've noticed coffee is a must on some days.
I mean, I think coffee is perfectly fine. I think you need to be careful about, of course, how much you're consuming of coffee. Then, of course, what you're putting in your coffee. If you're putting in a bunch of sugar, cream, your 0-calorie coffee is going to quickly add up. Yeah. So, but I think other than that, black coffee is perfectly fine. But I'm also not against adding some 0-calorie sweeteners. I'm not a hater of those. I know some people are against them, but to me, I don't think some aspartame is anything to worry about.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So I kind of skipped over it. What are some of your goals coming into this new year?
Yeah. Oh, let me think. So school, I want to try to get all A's this year, school. So that's kind of one of my goals. And then I really want to improve my deadlift.
Okay.
Lifting wise, it's my most lacking lift, I would say, out of all of mine. So kind of working on that deadlift, being consistent with my sessions is something I really want to work on, and then just keeping up with my school, because I'm going to be having to apply to graduate school pretty soon. So gonna need to keep up with that.
Yeah. Can you does like Weber do your graduate school, or what kind of schools are you looking to apply at?
So the biggest school I'm looking to apply is Utah. I'm also looking at Colorado. There's a local Rocky Mountain college for physical therapy. So I'm just kind of looking around local, kind of going to be applying to multiple schools, trying to get in for that. But Weber is just my undergraduate in exercise science, and I'll move on to get a doctorate in physical therapy.
That's really cool. So you're in a physical therapy office right now, aren't you?
Yep, I am.
So for all the dads out there, what's one injury or one thing that, like you should steer away from? Like you could exercise X to not get this problem.
Interesting. I would say just in general, I would say just taking care of yourself, not doing anything stupid. Because directly coming from being a new dad, I would say most men are still young. We're pretty stupid sometimes when it comes to things. So I would say just being a little extra cautious, knowing that you do have a family to provide for. So a big thing in Utah is snowboarding, skiing. So just be careful with that, I would say. Yeah. Because if you do get injured, you break an ankle, it affects your work. If you're not able to work, got to provide. And then also just affecting your ability to treat your kid.
So like, what's one of the most popular injuries you see?
Oh, there's a lot of them. I would say right now there's a lot of shoulder injuries.
Shoulders. Shoulders are tough.
Shoulders are hard. I mean, it's the most injurable. So it's very easy to injure your shoulder. I'm trying to think of the words to say it. It's the least stable joint. There we go. Okay. It's the least stable joint in the body. So very common. So you'll see a lot of injuries. You'll see rotator cuff, labrums, lots of shoulder injuries. Other than that, back. A lot of people have lower back problems. So lots of backs. And then the other biggest one would be knees. Okay. So usually with knees, you'll see a lot of ACLs. Those are mostly athletes, football, soccer, a lot of those quick movement sports. So those I would say are the three biggest injuries that you'll see.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. How do you like working in a physical therapy office?
I like it. I would say it's a really rewarding job. Is you see these people over 6 to 8 weeks, and you see from the start where they're coming in on crutches in a cast, and you get to see till the end when they're walking, and you kind of played a factor in helping those people. One of the reasons I wanted to do physical therapy is I had a great physical therapist out here who helped me through some of my high school injuries and was kind of always a little bit of a support system there, helping me out chase the dreams I had at that point. So I would say that's the best part. Is it is a really rewarding job in helping these people improve their quality of life and chase dreams they want to chase.
That's really cool. So I know your dad. He's really good guy. What's like so I'm trying to promote like being an involved father, being there for your kid, which I know is very involved in your life. What's like one of your fondest memories? Like what was one of your favorite things to do?
I would say my fondest memories as a little kid is he would always play catch with me. Like I was always big football, baseball, and I think taking those 10, 15 minutes is so important as a dad. Yeah. Because it's in the big picture, it's not a lot of time. But it'll mean the world to your kid to play 10 minutes of catch with the football, 10 minutes catch with the baseball, kick around the soccer ball. Yeah. So I think that means the world, as well as it doesn't have to be active. Like I remember playing video games with him. So I would say those are the most memorable memories. And then I would say as of recently, we've had the opportunity to go to Las Vegas, watch Utah play in the Pac-12 championship multiple times for football. So
go to sporting events and stuff like that.
I'd say those are great memories as of recent with my dad.
Okay. That's awesome. What's your favorite place you visited? Because I know we went to like the Rose Bowl in California. You guys have went to like the Pac-12 championship in Vegas, or like you've went and saw baseball games in New York. Like what was your favorite city to go visit?
Favorite city? I'll have to by far go New York.
New York?
Yeah, it's a busy city, but I think it's a place everybody should go once in their life. Cool. It's an amazing city to see, and there's so much to do. I'd love to go back and experience more.
What was your favorite thing there?
Oh, the baseball game. By far, going to Yankee Stadium in the Bronx and being able to see Judge play and see the Yankee crazies out in right field. It was an amazing experience.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then I would say New York's by far the favorite city I've been to. Favorite place, I would have to say Hawaii. Oh yeah, I can't leave out the beach, relaxing on the beach at a resort. So I would say those are my two favorite places. There's a lot of cities I haven't traveled a ton, so that's something I want to do more. I want to go to Chicago, and I want to go to some more of those bigger cities. I want to go to Boston. So
that's cool. What kind of like eventually later on down the road, like we don't need nothing. No cousins now, but like what kind of dad do you want to be? Do you want to like be into sports? I don't know, like because I think like sporting events are huge with your kid, like obviously like you're talking about, but like have you had any thoughts on that?
Of course, ideally I want them to play sport. I won't force anything, of course. I think it's important that they make their own decisions too, but I'll definitely promote being healthy and active. I was a big football guy, so hopefully football player. But I mean, I'll also support if they want to play soccer or baseball. Like I think just doing something to be active is really important as a little kid. Yeah, especially like going into this new generation. I'll call them iPad kids. I hate to say this, but I don't want to be one of those parents when we're going out to eat that just gives your kid an iPad.
Hell no, you want them to be present. Like I've seen a study where like you need to give your kid a cell phone later on down in life with how smartphones are now, and they become like less socially awkward because they're able to kind of focus on something or be in the conversation or something like that.
Yeah, they're able to develop some of those communication skills and some of those really important skills to have. I mean, working at a physical therapy clinic, that's something I've noticed is you see the difference between kids who've been kind of raised with an iPad per se and those who didn't. There's some kids who are very involved and they'll talk to you and joke around with you.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's some kids where they don't take an AirPod out the entire visit, and I think that's just a part of the new generation and something you'll see more of.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Hopefully we could change that. We don't want that. But I don't know, like I feel like kids being off their iPads or kids going out to the playground and just playing sports in general is super important. Would you want to get your kid into like lifting at a young age?
Yeah, I would.
I definitely want to like have Ezra just follow me around. Or
No, I definitely would. I want to dispel the conspiracy that lifting stunts growth. Nothing has shown that's true. I mean, of course, getting going, you're not going to have them doing anything crazy.
Yeah.
But I think something really important is just getting them active, getting kids active, especially I'm a big advocate for healthy lifestyles, and like the obesity rate in the United States is skyrocketing.
Yeah.
It's nearly at 50%. I think it's at around 40% right now, and it's getting worse, and it's putting more stress on our healthcare system. So I think there needs to be a change in keeping active and advocating for these healthy lifestyles.
Yeah, stay active out there.
Yes.
Like I think it's kind of a harsh take, but you could look at a dad and then look at the kid and be like, okay, well, it's the dad's fault. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Like, if you choose to eat healthier, your family chooses to eat healthier, then your kid's going to eat healthier, and he's going to follow your habits. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you're out at McDonald's, if you're out constantly getting junk, then your kid's going to fall into that cycle. And exactly. Like, I think it starts at a young age.
No, it for sure does. I agree 100% with all of that. And there's actually been studies that show if the mother is obese when they have their children, the children's more likely to be obese. And then as well as growing up, just having some of those readily available foods. I mean, the Twinkies, desserts, all that, it can affect hugely.
Yeah, like my son's going to start eating foods. He's getting close to being able to eat foods now. It's like, oh man, I already want to start him on like a good diet. Like I don't want to get him addicted to sugar because I'm addicted to sugar. I think I'm addicted to caffeine because like I take my pre-workout at 5 a.m, like 4:30 in the morning. Mm-hmm. Once I leave there, I get a Red Bull to go to work because you always need that Red Bull and then
that little pick me up.
Yeah, for real. And then you need one after. But I don't know. I think it's super important to not be or to show your kid a good example.
And no, I 100% agree.
You've seen that a lot in the physical therapy, like.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I think setting a good example how your kids should act is very important, and that starts with the parent.
Yeah,
I mean they learn it from somewhere.
Yeah,
so
be healthy out there. You don't need to be no superhero or anything like super fit, but be active and eat healthy. I think is a good message.
I think balance is very important. Like, I think diets fail because people think they need to be so strict, and it's okay to have cheat meals.
Yeah.
I am completely fine with that. But
especially with this new year, new me, everybody's out there, I'm going to quit alcohol. I'm going to go to gym every day. Like, set some goals that are kind of obtainable, I think. If you're going to drink, have, set a limit per week.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Would you say that helps quite a bit?
No, I would 100%. Usually kind of something I'll do is I'll stay on diet during the week and then I'll give myself a cheat meal Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
So that's something I've noticed kind of has helped me. I've lost a significant amount of weight, and I remember that's helped me before and kind of just keeps me on track. So I get some of those addictions and cravings out of the way over the weekend, but yeah. I'm also not going crazy because I think it's important that it's a cheat meal, not a cheat day. I would say there's a big difference between a cheat meal and cheat day.
I know, because I could eat a whole damn pizza if I really wanted to, but kind of got to hold yourself back a little bit.
Exactly.
But what else can you say helps like weight loss? Because I know you lost a lot of weight. What kind of like started you down that path? Because like new fathers out there, some of them might be a little overweight or want to lose some weight going into this new year. What kind of helps with that?
I would say just being more conscious of what you're eating. I don't count calories. I don't think you need to.
Yeah.
I make healthy switches per se, like sugar-free options. I've kind of moved away from soda. I'll do diet soda, if anything.
Yeah.
That's something that I've noticed really helped when I started to lose a lot of weight is when you think about, I would have like 5 or 6 Cokes a day. And if there's 150 calories in that bottle of Coke, those liquid calories, they add up quick.
Yeah.
So that would be one of my biggest pieces of advice is try to eliminate those liquid calories, get those out of the way. And then I think low intensity cardio is amazing because if you're going to go out and you're going to do sprints or you're going to run, you're going to be super sore and you're not going to want to do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then you're not going to be able to keep up with that, where I always advocate for low intensity, moderate cardio. 150 minutes a week is kind of the recommendation. So I would say just low intensity, walking on the cardio, walking outside. As a new dad, take your kids for walks, push them around. I think that's great exercise to get you out.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. That's great advice. What is one activity you want to do this year? So like, it could be a destination, could be a goal, a race, whatever you want to do.
I would say I'm looking to sign up for another powerlifting meet. I want to continue kind of my powerlifting journey. Okay. That's something I for sure want to do this year and something I want to schedule.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. Is there anything that you are looking towards? Are you looking to do another Spartan race or?
Yeah. So a couple of us are kind of looking at doing a Spartan race, but like, I think it's important to set those goals, especially as a dad, like set a goal, tell your kids, like I can't tell my son now, but like set a goal. They'll see you work towards something, and I think that helps them at a young age kind of learn that they need to work towards something. Because if you don't have anything to work towards, then they'll look at that and be like, oh, I don't need to work towards anything. Like, So I think it's super important to set the little goals throughout the year, maybe 1 or 2 big goals, like a race or an event, or even just like, hey, we're going to go to a ball game in November, like, we should get ready for it. Like, help me mow lawns as a kid. I don't know. Like, get kids involved.
No, I completely agree. You need to be an example for them. So if you're not doing it, they're not going to do it. If they see that their dad can't hold to their word and they can't accomplish and stick to what they're going to do, then they won't. So you got to be a good example for them. For sure. But so I'm going to do a Spartan race. Probably again, or like a mud race or something like that. But I don't know. I wanted to try and do like a weightlifting competition. I know I wouldn't really do any good in it, but I don't know. Just try and step out of my comfort zone a little bit. Yeah, and I mean, I think that's a great idea. Something that my coach has told me. I love my coach. He's a great coach. There's no such thing as not being strong enough for a powerlifting meet. Yeah. The entry, there's no like minimum requirement. You can sign up whenever. So I think anybody looking to do it. Yeah. Get that experience. It's an awesome experience. It's a fun experience. And it's your first time. Like you don't need to meet any expectations. Just go out there, do your best, and get that experience. Yeah. So I would say if you want to, for sure, do it. And that's anybody out there like who's thinking about doing it, but you're like, oh, I'm not strong enough. Just do it. No, that'd be my recommendation. Just do it. That's exactly. The message Nike. For today. Nike, just do it. Well, I think that's the message for today. Is kind of just do it, like we were talking about Nike. Send it. But if there's anything you want to do in life this year, like I think health is wealth coming up in 2024. I think it's a lot more popular now. It's kind of getting back into the mainstream media. Yeah, for sure. That's what I've seen anyway. I don't know if I'm on a different side of TikTok or something. But like skin shape, even if you're not a dad, like if you're an uncle, if you want to be like a role model in someone's life, I think just kind of get a little healthier every day. So yeah, just get better every day. Yeah. So thanks for coming on the podcast. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. But until next time, see you guys.